everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. Welcome to my channel. I'm Shah and I've been making some DIY washi tape that's a little bit different, and I thought you might like to give it a try. It's been a while since I have made a video. I'm trying to get back into it and do a bit more and into the swing of things. So I hope you'll follow along with me and that this is something that you can use in your journal ephemera or your projects that you're going to be doing. It's pretty simple and straightforward, which is what I like, and I have done some other paper crafts with the tape, but I will be uploading those to my channel soon. So yeah, I'll have some more content coming your way. So what I've got on my desk is some photos or some images at the moment. It doesn't have to be confined to that, but the photo that I'm just holding at the moment is also a different method, another method, which is putting some recycled tissue paper to make to age a photo. So I will be touching on that. These photos that I did here, I've used some of my tape that I think we've all got this in our stash. This is just a sellotape, a basic sellotape onto freezer paper, and I won't go into that into too much depth because I think we all know how to do that. And yeah, just with alcohol ink. That one is a little bit dark, but I've got a few various sort of shades that I keep on hand for when I'm creating journals or ephemera for those journals. So those two photos, I've used a bit on the bottom corner there of that one there, and I've encased that little photo in the frame and put it onto some cards, some vintage card, and use some seam binding. It's just a little example. I haven't finished all of these, but it's just to show you some more to show you what I've been doing. So that little photo there too, that's the one with the tissue paper, and that's a used tissue paper or recycled tissue paper. I'll just keep it and use it for this type of thing. This one here, this example here, I have used some photo corners and an image. You don't have to use a photo, you can use any image or anything you like, a fussy cut or anything that you would like to put on there, and I've just embellished it with some seam binding. And I have got the paler gold washi tape down the side of it there on that image. Then I've just got a selection of that one there. I ran the cardboard through my embossing machine, and that gives a nice effect too. Yeah, I've done mainly square photos, but you could do circular ones. You could sort of change it up a bit if you wanted to. So that's a different one again, depending on how much alcohol ink I put on those. Some of them, as you'll see, I have painted. So those ones there are still the washi tape, and that's another different look again. The one on the left with the lady and the baby, that one came out really vintage, and I think I might have sprayed some. I use some of that rubbing alcohol sometimes and spray that on it. Gives it like a watercolor effect. And then these two, that is painted with a different gold, and I have stenciled that, which I will go through with you. So that's another nice look that I like. And these two are these are old washi tapes that I used some alcohol ink on. That's another thing that I like to do, is if I've got some old washi tapes that really, we all have washi tapes that we don't use anymore, rather than discard them, you can actually put them on freezer paper and paint over them. Or use alcohol ink and change them up. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, that's another way of using those up. So what I use is I get my washi tape in sheets. You can use medical tape, masking tape it off on. Those all a little bit too tacky. So I purchased this one. It's quite reasonable. I put that front on there so that I know which side is the right side to paint on. You can also run them through the printer. They're A4 sheets, and that's just an example of the two golds I've got. So I've got quite a deep gold there, and I have a pearl type of gold. The one on the left, the pearl in the little bottle, is probably my favourite. But the other gold goes really well with the stenciling, which is another paint I put over. So yeah, I really like those. I've had them for a long time. If you've got some gold paint, just use it up. You don't have to buy any special supplies. And so I'll come back to those. And also, you can see that the way I put it on is quite rustic, if you like. You can go over it a few times and make it a little bit more perfect than that if that's your choice. But I'm quite happy to have it like that because I'm going for a vintage look, not so much perfection. So that's what the strips look like. Some of the strips look like when they come out. I do them quite thin. If you want them larger, you can. So I use my cutting tool, my board, or you could use a guillotine, turn them the other way and do them the short end. So you can use either of those. You can also use a scoring board and cut them with the strips with scissors. So this is an old stencil that I use. This is a card, an old credit card, disused credit card that I used to put some gold paint on the images or whatever I'm using. Alcohol inks. I've got caramel and I think ginger this time, but any terracotta based or sepia alcohol inks would be great for this project. I've got some little latex sponges. I use those and keep them in a baggie because a Ziploc bag. I find that kitchen sponges or artist sponges soak up too much paint. These little sponges just let it all go back onto the stencil. It's quite good. And then I've got some burnt umber, dark chocolate acrylic paint. This brand is just an old one that I had. I do some painting myself, and there some paints that I started with. I've moved on to some better quality paints, but these are great just to use up on, especially the chocolates and everything, because I use them sometimes on photos or on my pages of my journals to age them and other projects. So that's handy to have. The next thing you'll need is some brushes. So the one on the left I use predominantly you're using Mod Podge in this with this method, and that one on the left I use just for glues, and the two on the right are really good, like thick brushes that you can get a lot of paint onto that washi paper. So yeah, some of those, and you might need a little tiny brush too, which I haven't shown there, but just a little old brush would be fine because you're really only just going to put it on the plastic card to get onto the image or whatever you're working on. I had a little paddle pop stick there too that you can put that onto your sponge, the paint onto your sponge with that if you wish. But I generally have a piece of I usually use a piece of freezer paper and I just dab into it. I'll put a bit on there. Now, a bit of a story behind these images. I had quite a few nice images picked out, and just on somewhere on card and somewhere just on a 170 gram, a good quality paper. But I was working on them and I kept going off the page, and when I look back on it, you really couldn't see what I was doing because I got so involved in it. So the images that I've taken from some of these, that's some original photos I have, some of them, and I do have a couple of Paris street scenes too, so old vintage ones that I've copied also. But if you're somebody that uses original photos, you can certainly use them with this method if you like to put originals into your journals or into your projects. That's a little photo. I got a random photo. I've got a few of those. It comes sometimes with a a bunch of photos, and it was a bit of a bad choice because it's got that pretty little scallop edge, and I was going to demonstrate putting it on a photo with that little one, but I didn't want to cover up that scallop edge. So yeah, if you've got any little stray photos, it's a great way to use those too. And so the next thing I'll go onto is the stenciling. I'll put those to one side, and I will show you those techniques with those later. So the stenciling, I just sped it up a little bit because that's an old stencil, and you'll have to excuse the stencil, but it's great for this sort of thing. I keep a tub of water behind at my desk for stencils if I'm doing pasting or something, but this stencil is so old that it's really past being cleaned, so I just let it dry out and use it for things like this. And yeah, so I just randomly put it around there. You can do more or less whatever you want to do. And that was a deep gold, and I've got my glove on. I've got my, another thing you may want to use is some rubbing alcohol. Decided to do half and half of this, so half with the alcohol ink like you would do on the sellotape but on the gold paint, and the other half plain, just to see the difference at the end. And I did explain those two alcohol inks that I'm using, and I just randomly put it on and get something going there as you would on the sellotape, and then I use the rubbing alcohol to actually give an effect. It's almost like it's blooming now, but like it just gives it a little bit more, though. Just sprayed it on then. Now also one thing, that I don't sort of mush it up too much or try and spread it too much. I just leave it dry naturally then, because I do find that when you put the rubbing alcohol on, sometimes it brings up the paint. So I just leave it dry naturally, or I hit it with the heat gun if you want to use it quite quickly. But it's good to do these in advance and just have them at the side or have them in a bag to use. So in the end I chose these two images, and I did manage to keep them in frame. And so these ladies were wearing all dark, so it's a good example to bring that back. This is where you use the Mod Podge with the tissue paper, and so their dark clothing sort of threw like a really white shadow all over them, and their skin tone went really white. So this is I find this is a good way to bring it back. So first of all, I put a generous amount of the Mod Podge on, and then I'll put the tissue paper on. Now when you put the tissue paper on too, mine is scrunched, it is recycled, but if you buy new tissue paper, I would advise that you just scrunch it all up or crinkle it all up, and before you use it, and use the dull side up. Now when I put it on, and you'll see that the Mod Podge just soak up, or the tissue paper soaks in the Mod Podge pretty quickly. But I do further put some more like wrinkles in it, so I just place it over the top, leaving a pretty generous margin around the edge, and then I just sort of scrunch it up with my fingers as best I can. It sets pretty quickly, and on card it moves a little bit better. You could put probably a bit more Mod Podge on, but I find then it takes a while to dry. So yeah, and then just, you could use a brayer, but I'm just going to use that little card just to get contact between the Mod Podge and the image and the tissue paper. So I'll put that off the side to dry for a while, and we'll go on to the other photo. And I've sped this up a little bit so we can just get this photo finished. I'm really just putting on the tape, and then I'm going to do the little gold paint finish on it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that, and I'll be back after this part is finished with some more. So I'm just going to cut those washi sheets that we painted earlier, and I'll be back after that. So we've come to the end of the video today, and before I go, I would like to share a sneak peek of my 2025 Christmas digital collection, which I've called Christmas Dream. It's a collection of vintage textiles, quite a lot of layering. The colours are rich chocolates to greens, to golds, some script I've done in gold, French script, and some beautiful florals, of course, and overlays of lace. This is the first 2 pages, and I'm currently working on the other pages and what I'm going to put with them. So as soon as I have that up in my Etsy shop, I'm sure I'll put it up on Instagram, so I'm sure you'll see that. But keep an eye out for it, and I'd love to see you over there. So I'm putting the images up there today that I did out of frame, just to show you those, because I couldn't show you those earlier. And I hope you enjoyed the video and you followed along and you find it useful in your project. So till I talk to you next time, bye for now.